Hey there, today we are discussing how profitable our tiny home of less than 200 square feet was in the year 2019 on Airbnb. We're gonna go over how much it cost us to get us reset up for 2019, how much we made, and how much we lost due to horrible guests. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jillian Wise. I'm with Far Out Tiny Homes. We are a tiny home design and build company out here in beautiful Las Vegas. This channel covers everything from tiny home living, DIY, and just some different perspectives from a family of 6 who downsized to 200 square feet. But let's talk about what you're here for. Let's look at the money. Let's go. Before we decided to put our Blue Baloo on Airbnb, there was definitely some considerations to make. There were definitely some high setup costs when it came to getting started, ones that we really didn't anticipate. So we're gonna discuss how much it really did cost us to get set up, and then we'll go over how much money we made versus how much money we lost. So seeing we lived in the Blue Baloo for just shy of 2 years, we had all the basic amenities covered. Pots, pans, cooktop, storage areas, all those little things that do add up if you have to buy them. So what did we really need to purchase? We needed to purchase some new linens, new towels, new hand towels, kitchen towels, some rugs, some different decor to kind of set the mood. And just like setting up any other space, the cost may seem a little to begin with, but slowly it starts to add up. Things that we didn't consider buying until we had already been on the platform for a month was extra storage space, an entertainment center of old 80s and 90s movies that were near and dear to my childhood, a DVD player, extra towels and sheets, and then we just wanted to supply our guests with welcome gifts. It changed with the season. Sometimes we had chocolates and wine, sometimes we had different toiletries available, but we definitely set a budget every month to have some sort of like welcome gift. Las Vegas is a destination, and it's not as if people expect that, but it kind of is the icing on the cake when you're already excited to get out there, maybe go play some slots, and then the tiny home that you're staying at has like this hangover kit. We supplied our guests with lots of different items, and they really enjoyed it. That led us to hit superhost status within the first 30 days of being on the platform. And you might be wondering, how do you do that? Well, superhost status is recalculated every 3 months or every 90 days. We were lucky enough to hit it on the tail end of when they tally the results. In our first 30 days on Airbnb, we were able to book out almost every day. We hit every benchmark that it takes to become a superhost. That really catapulted our listing to more guests. I think another reason we were able to hit that superhost status so quick is that our experience is very niche. There's not a lot of tiny homes up on Airbnb, and there surely isn't a lot of different stays here in Las Vegas. By adding those extra touches of the hangover kit or wine and chocolates, depending on who was staying with us, people really felt a connection. Another key item that we found to hitting Superhost is to provide a locals only guide. And this is basically a guide that we recommended different dispensaries, different bars, different places to eat, different places to shop that potentially you wouldn't just be able to find if you didn't live here. And that also helped our local economy. We were bringing business to the small businesses. We received so many compliments on how that welcome book was laid out. It was all sectioned off. I'm gonna show you some pictures here. We went ahead and detailed places around our homes. You traveled without a car. Within walking distance, there were all sorts of different amenities. And then we went out further, closer to the strip, and started recommending places, that are a quick Uber right away. Folks all agreed that this was super helpful. They loved all the suggestions, and not only did that help give us better reviews and add value to the experience, but then they also left such beautiful thank you notes within our guest book. We had a whole section dedicated to folks just signing and leaving a message of inspiration. People really like the idea of leaving behind their memories. So that was another way to really engage folks. We also had a lot of return customers. People liked the area that we were in, they really liked the amenities, and they liked how we took care of them. We made sure that our home was squeaky clean. We made sure that those crevices where you might find dust in a regular home, were always dusted, no fingerprints, and we just really went above and beyond. So when you walk into the space, you're greeted with cleanliness and organization, and I feel that that is really what set us apart from so many other Airbnbs on the platform. We steadily continued to book out. We opened up our tiny home in February of 2019. And as you know, the weather here in Las Vegas is absolutely beautiful from, February until June, and July and August are super hot. And then the fall is the most gorgeous time to be here. I was really surprised that we had steady bookings throughout the summer. Folks wanted to stay in a tiny home, they wanted the experience, and we were happy to be able to supply them with that. So as I was saying, we opened our tiny home in February 2019. We opened it up about, I think it was the second week in February. In our first month on the platform, we made $1,200. So you can see that we were consistently booked out, and we have no night required stay. And we found we made more money if we just let those single stay folks roll in and roll right out. They didn't check in until 3 or 4, and then they were checked out by 11, which was just such a quick turnaround. And then we were able to welcome in that next guest. Generally speaking, for the folks that only stayed with us for a night, the unit was left in really pristine condition. So when we went in to go disinfect, there was just less work to do. There wasn't, somebody who had stayed in there for 3 or 4 nights and kind of trashed the place. So our tiny home fluctuated between $95 and $125 a night. We also tacked on a $25 cleaning fee, and that was all we charged. Because the experience is so different, we were constantly booked. We never really had anybody scoff at the price. Everybody thought that the value was there, and all of the comments and the reviews would suggest that we were doing something correctly. So in order to bring in more folks who consistently use the Airbnb platform, we did have an offer up. And this offer consisted of anyone on the platform that has 5 5-star reviews can stay every night in our tiny home for $75, plus they had to pay the $25 cleaning fee. But the cleaning fee is only applied per stay, not per night. So this lowered the overall cost to the guests, and we were attracting more people who consistently use the platform. Now, what we found was folks that come in and they know how to use Airbnb, they left less of a mess, their communication was really great, and they just understood kind of how an Airbnb works, versus the person that maybe this is their first time on the platform, maybe they generally stay in a hotel. That's such a different guest. So for us, we wanted to bring in the folks that already had an idea of what staying in an Airbnb was like. And that tremendously helped us to keep our reviews very high. Right now we have a 4.9 star rating, which is fantastic for us. So what is crazy about Airbnb is the fact that we joined in February and we made that $1,200, and that was our worst performing month across the board. Every other month after that, we made a minimum of $2,000. Our best performing month was in May of 2019, and we made $3,700. The weather is perfect out here in May, and Las Vegas is such a destination that we were consistently booked out. One thing I do want to let you all know is we also have a pool on site, but the pool is not included in the stay. We do have folks ask if they can use it, but we continuously say no, just because if anything were to happen, that would just leave us really liable. And I will tell you that we never had anyone upset that they couldn't use the pool, and most everybody that stayed with us understood that the legality behind allowing folks to swim in the pool was just too high, and we would have to raise our rates. So one key element I do want to discuss really quick is the response rate. So I have the Airbnb host app on my phone. I always have my phone on me, and whenever we would get an inquiry or a booking, I would try to make sure to connect with that guest immediately. Our response rate has been at 100%, and we make sure that we keep those response times really quick. People don't have time to wait around to see if you're going to approve or decline their stay. They will simply move on. And if you want to get those sales and get those folks in your home, you really need to make yourself available. So from about mid-February to the end of December, we made just shy of $23,000 on Airbnb. Woohoo! Okay, so now let's talk expenditures. If you've been around our channel for a little while, you know that I did a review on our worst Airbnb guests and how much it costs us. We had one guest stay that ended up costing us about $1,500 in repairs. We also had a couple of other guests that just cost us more so time. We did have a couple guests take some things that they shouldn't have. So when we added up all of the damages done to the unit and the items that needed to be bought once again, we spent about $2,500 on not only just on the setup, but then repurchasing items throughout the year. Which, when you think about it, when you make $23,000 and you've only invested $2,500, you're still making pretty darn good money. So if you're finding this content useful, please smash that like button. We would also love if you would consider subscribing. Thank you so much. I will say that making yourself accessible to guests without being a nuisance is paramount for a really, really great review. We like to always offer to come in and clean the sheets, refresh the towels, refresh the amenities, whatever it is they need to make sure that their experience feels really comfy and home-like. We also want them to feel welcome. So one key aspect of our tiny home, we do not offer Wi-Fi. And while we thought that this might hinder folks that want to stay and work here or are coming into town to work, we really experienced only a handful of folks that were kind of disappointed that we didn't offer Wi-Fi. We in turn let them know that there's not really a desk space to set up to get work done. And we also supplied about 15, 80s and 90s movies and a DVD player for late night entertainment. So if you're just really getting started putting your home on Airbnb, think about the monthly cost. How much it's going to cost you to clean the unit with your cleaning supplies, how many amenities you're going to offer your folks, and what you deem as important. For us, instead of spending the money to add a Wi-Fi connection to the tiny home, we wanted to encourage folks to interact with our environment, give them some really good tips and suggestions to experience Las Vegas as a local, and then leave behind care packages so they really felt welcomed into the space. Now you might be asking, how did you find that sweet spot of charging, $95 to $125 a night? That really came with trial and error. Now Airbnb will make a couple suggestions as you're getting started on the platform of what they feel your house is worth, but if you know your house better than anyone, and if you have these really specific amenities that you're offering, you need to go with your gut, how much you want to make, and not just including the nightly stay rate, but also the cleaning rate, how long it's really going to take you to now disinfect that unit and get it ready for the next guest. We did play around with our rates. We lowered our rates all the way down to $70 a night, all the way up to $150 a night. Here's how we landed on $95 to $125. What we found, and this is Las Vegas, so wherever you're living, you're going to attract a very different clientele than the folks coming out to Las Vegas. A lot of people come out here for our beautiful recreation, but a lot of people come out here to party on the strip, and we get that. So we wanted to make sure that we were charging the rate that would bring in folks that maybe were here to go to the strip, but also to do other things, go experience Red Rock or go take a hike at Gold Strike, not just the folks that wanted to go and get hammered out on the strip. So here's what we noticed. When our rate was around $70 a night, the unit attracted the unsavory characters. These were the people that would really thrash the unit, didn't so much care about rules, definitely didn't read through our welcome book to tell them how to navigate the tiny house, and who were kind of in and out all hours. It drove us nuts. So then we catapulted the rate up to $150. Our bookings went down, but the caliber of folks that wanted to stay with us were almost tiny home enthusiasts. They were really looking for that experience of going tiny to see, would this fit for me? Like, can I do this in my regular life? And they were willing to pay that premium price to have that experience. But we didn't only just want to attract folks that were really considering going tiny. We wanted to introduce this lifestyle to as many people as we could. So by playing with the rate, $80 a night, $85, $95, we were able to really find where people found the best value. And the best value for us was between $95 and $125 a night, plus our $25 cleaning fee. So since COVID, things look very different from a host perspective on Airbnb. We now have multiple pages of checklists that we have to promise to clean by in order to disinfect the unit. It does take quite a while now. So for the time being, we have taken our tiny home off of Airbnb until we can fully commit to a system that not only works for Airbnb and our guests, but also works for us in our time. If you're considering putting your home or your tiny home on Airbnb, I would definitely say go for it. Once 2020 is over, we are going to re-examine coming back onto the platform and really delving deep into the really strict guidelines the hosts now bear for cleaning the unit. We want to make sure we're ready to go 100%. So if you're looking to join the Airbnb platform, definitely keep in mind the cost of setup, the cost of upkeep, and now the cost of really disinfecting your unit. Well guys, thank you so much for coming along this journey and listening to our experience on Airbnb. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I do try to interact as much as possible, and if you really have specific questions that are weighing heavy, feel free to send us an email. All of our contact information is found in the description. We hope you all have a wonderful day. Keep it groovy.